name is Mike, and I tend to host these 11:30 Tuesday, 11:30 Facebook meditations. In case this is the first time you've logged on a Tuesday, um, and I'm also a board member here at the Ecumenical Buddhist Society of Lilac, as well as participate and or co-lead a couple different practice groups. So anyway, it's wonderful to have you join me. Whether you're doing so live or you are watching this as a recorded video on our Facebook page at your own convenience, either way is great. Glad you're taking the time out of your day to maybe take a break and to sit with us. So before we start the meditation, I thought I would just talk for a moment about something. I titled the video, oh God, what did I title the video? Is it in your own mind, I think is what I had said. And the reason I referenced that is because I was reading this book called How to Meditate, which is by Pema Chodron. Those of you who know Pema Chodron know that she's a Buddhist teacher, Buddhist nun, and a prolific writer, author, just very wise person, and writes often on Buddhism and Buddhism practices, etc. And this one called How to Meditate is wonderful, and it's a great, I would recommend those of you who maybe are brand new to meditation or are looking for a good sort of primer, kind of basic meditation book. So far, I haven't read the whole thing yet. This is one of the best I've read. Very straightforward, with easy to follow kind of steps or discussions. But one thing that she talks about here, and I'll read the sentence to you, and I thought I would just share it because it's something I read last night and I found helpful. She says that all of us who have a meditation practice should be continually asking ourselves this question: how much of this is really happening on the outside, and how much of this is in my mind? How much of this is really happening on the outside, and how much of this is happening in my mind? And what she's talking about there is the times of our days where we are really tangled up with our emotions and we're having a lot of anxiety, frustration, anger, jealousy, any of those negative emotions that really get us tangled up. She says that what she recommends is that we are always asking ourselves how much of this is happening from the outside and how much of it is happening in my own mind. And part of that question is this meditation practice. So you could almost say that to some degree when we sit in silence, to hold a question, we very often in Buddhism especially, but also just generally in meditation, it's a great practice to kind of hold a question in your mind. You're not grasping for an answer. It's not like it's a question and an answer. You're really just gently holding this great question. And this question seems to me like a good one to hold. You know, you could simplify it and make it shorter and say, what's really going on here? Or where's this really coming from? Or who is really feeling this? Right? Any of those are sort of good placeholders for these questions. What's really going on here? Because what she says here is that much of what gets us tangled up is not things happening on the outside of us. People, circumstances, you know, they may contribute to some degree, of course, but what really is going on is very often on the inside of us. On the inside of us. That what our mind is doing, where we're putting our mind energies, is what's causing all this anger, resentment, jealousy, confusion, anxiety. It's not so much anything on the outside world that's doing it to us. When something traumatic happens, or you're involved in a car accident, or you've just been fired from your job, or someone just broke up with you, okay, those are external things that have occurred in your life, which absolutely you have to respond to, and sometimes we don't respond in a helpful way. But the vast majority of stuff that you and I feel anxiety about is not in response to some particular event that's just happened in the moment. It's our thinking, our mind, that's sort of stuck and ruminating and getting tangled up and getting sticky with creating a storyline, right? So a meditation practice like this and holding the question of what's really going on here, or who's really feeling this, who's feeling this, who is this, is a great way of kind of shifting your perspective to go, whoa, again, not that you logically figure this out. There's no logic to figure out here or rationally figure out. But there's a perspective shift of when you step back and you say, what's going on here? Who's feeling this? Is this really happening now, or am I just thinking this? When you kind of shift the perspective like that, all of a sudden something kind of begins to open, and you kind of get a little bit of elbow room in your head, and you start to realize, whoa, this is coming from something inside. This is not coming from something outside. Then you have some room to work with it. So anyway, I'm rambling a little bit, but I just thought that was a helpful tidbit that I wanted to share with you. And feel free to message a question if you have, or drop a comment in, right? If there's anything that you want like to talk about more, or you want to know where you can purchase this book. I'm sure you could purchase at your local bookstore. I won't say Amazon, because I think it probably would be better to buy from your local bookstore. Or actually, we carry the book here at EBS. We have a bookstore here at the Ecumenical Buddhist Society. You can purchase a copy of this book, I'm pretty sure, is in our bookstore here. Okay. I sound like I'm such a marketing guy, which I kind of am, actually, professionally. All right, so let's go ahead and get ourselves into whatever position where you normally like to sit. If you're on a cushion or just even in a chair, it really doesn't make a difference. You don't have to sit cross-legged or on a cushion on the floor. If that's not comfortable for you and it's just not doable, then pull up a chair. Just make sure that whatever you're sitting in, that your back is straight. You're getting sort of a sense of a straight line from your tailbone, which is anchored into your chair or cushion. You're going up your spine, up the back of your neck. You imagine a string that goes from the crown of your head and goes straight up into the sky, so that there's like this sense of continuity and straightness in your body. And having a firm cushion or chair to sit on is helpful then. Your hands may be laying on your knees or your lap. Your shoulders are back a little bit, opening your chest up forward, opening your heart up forward, as opposed to being slouched over. Shoulders are back, your head is up, but comfortably up, not jacked back up, but just sort of straight. Eyes mostly open, slightly to mostly open, I'm looking kind of past my computer screen here, up ahead of me and down a little bit. Trying to keep my head straight. And mouth can be slightly open as you breathe. Just taking a few breaths. Not trying to do anything fancy or manipulate anything. Just settling in, noticing your breathing. Your breath is what anchors your meditation practice. It's where you always come back to. When you sit and you find your mind wandering and you find yourself distracted, no need to get upset or talk to yourself internally about that. Just come back to your breath. Just follow your breath. And then, again, maybe you get distracted and you begin thinking about something, and then you realize you're doing that, and then you do, once again, come back to your breath. You don't judge yourself or think you're bad at this, or start obsessing on some thinking. You just come back to the inhale, you're following it, that breath reaching deep down, past into your lungs and down into your abdomen, so it's really filling you up. You might hold it for just a beat, then you exhale. Again, maybe your lips are slightly open, the air seeps out slowly, gradually, until the exhale is complete. You hold it for a second. And you might inhale and deeply pulling the breath down, and so on. Your meditation practice is really just breathing, just watching the breath. And if you can, at the same time, hold that question of what is this? What am I? Not looking for an answer. There's no answer to be found logically. Just hold the question as you're breathing.